among the NFL's top 5 highest-paid receivers. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the 26-year-old signing a 3-year extension worth up to $71 million in new money. NBA, from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Jazz finalizing a 5-year contract with Celtics assistant Will Hardy to make him the team's new head coach. Kyrie Irving staying put, told The Athletic he's opting into his $36.5 million option with the Nets. Brooklyn got its answer from Irving, now needs to work on tweaking its roster, suggests ESPN's Zach Lowe.
Who's the 5th guy in their lineup with Kyrie, Joe Harris, Ben, and KD? Is it a big guy? Is it a small guy? Is it Bruce Brown? Is Joe Harris? What kind of role does he have next year? How do they retool this roster? Because they do have some things to play with. I think the Nets are going to be busier in the next 4 or 5 days than people think they will be, trying to retool this team around these big three that we have never seen play together.
Russell Westbrook plans to exercise his $47 million player option with the Lakers, according to Woj. LA hoping for a comeback season out of Westbrook.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. I don't know what that was. And probably because you had Mr. Toby Tomplay. Yeah. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Make it a good one. Yeah, I don't know what that was, Alondra, because you still had Toby Tomplay too loud. So what did you play?
It was Beady Beady Bomb Bomb by Selena.
I have no idea what that is, even if you weren't playing Toby Tomplay over that. No clue whatsoever. I think I've heard of Selena. She's the one that dated Bieber, yeah?
No.
Dang it. Who dated Bieber?
That's a different Selena.
But it was a Selena.
It was a Selena. Okay, right, different one.
Don't confuse me. Don't confuse me.
Wrong Selena.
All right. Thank you. That is Alondra, who is in for Musa, who's on his 420 cruise all week. Jay Johnson he ain't stopping, bro. We told you yesterday that he wasn't done. It looked like he was going to get even more done, and he did, in fact. And I'm told that they're still not done. But Carter Young, the shortstop from Vanderbilt, who it had been opined that he would end up probably at LSU, and he is, in fact, ending up at LSU, tweeted and shared on his Instagram last night, on Monday night, a photo of a tiger. He tagged LSU baseball, and on his Instagram, he put New Beginnings, go Tigers. So Carter Young, the shortstop from Vanderbilt, has committed to LSU. So if you're kind of keeping score at home, Carter Young, who's a 3-year starter at shortstop at Vanderbilt, he is now committed to LSU, as is Jack Pineda, who was on our show last week, who was a started at second base, moved to shortstop midway through his freshman year, and then this season started at shortstop every game for Baylor. So you've got Jordan Thompson, Jack Pineda, and Carter Young, 3 Power 5 shortstops, starting shortstops from this season, who will all be on LSU's roster for the 2023 season. Let's talk a little bit about Carter Young, because there's a few things that we have to address. Well, let me get to Carter Young in a second. Number one, I told y'all that they weren't done in the portal, and they're still not done in the portal. And the thing that's apparent right now is that Jay Johnson's not concerned with numbers. If there is a good player that can make his team better, he is going ham right now to get that player. Then they'll figure out the numbers later. So something that I think you will see, I think you're going to see more current LSU players hit the transfer portal before July 1. Remember, the deadline is July 1. You got to hit the portal by July 1 to be immediately eligible next year. So I think what's going to happen and I don't have names, so I can't give you a name, but it wouldn't surprise me if you had more guys hit the transfer portal before July 1 to keep open the possibility of being eligible next year. Even if they hope to stay, want to stay, think they're going to stay, but they hit the portal just in case LSU adds more transfers, and then as the draft comes and goes mid-July and more guys end up coming to school than they thought, and then Jay Johnson has to make tough decisions, you don't want to be one of those guys on the outside looking in without a place to play next year. So I would not be surprised if you saw that happen, if you saw more current LSU players hit the transfer portal before July 1, even if they plan to come back. Okay. And I'll come back and talk a little bit about why Jay Johnson, I think Jay Johnson has been so effective recruiting from what I've been told. As far as Carter Young, I think people are certainly going to focus on the bat. And that's been mostly what I've heard from LSU fans who have looked at it. He was a freshman in 2020, the COVID year, there were just 18 games before the season got cut short. He had 328. So we starting shortstop as a freshman at 328 is a pretty good start. Last year, the average dropped to 252, but the power numbers came. He had 16 homers. Started every game at shortstop for Vanderbilt in 2021 when they were the national runner-up. They lost the College World Series championship series to Mississippi State. But he had 252 and hit 16 homers. If you watch the team this year, you're probably going to say defense. LSU was atrocious defensively. LSU next year is going to have plenty of offense. Dylan Cruz is back. Trey Morgan is back. You added Tommy White, Braden Joubert, Josh Pearson, Gavin Dugas. LSU's got bats. They got bats, they got offense. Jack Pineda, Jordan Thompson. You got bats, you got offense. What you have to have is a more competent defense. So when I look at what Jay Johnson has done here, is he has 3 dudes who were all Power 5 starting shortstops this year that are all going to be competing for 3 spots next year. Second, third, and short. Don't know how it's going to play out. But you go into the fall and you say, Pineda, Young, Thompson. 3 of you, go battle it out. Whoever's the best, you start at short. And then you figure out third and second, however it may go. Jack Pineda this year had a .966 fielding percentage, made only 8 errors all season, and hit 300. Carter Young, .949. So he was .950 fielding percentage, had 11 errors all year. Jordan Thompson, .894, 18 errors. He was much better the final month of the season. We've talked about that. I think he had 1 error the final 12 games. He was very good late. But you got 3 dudes there who are all Power 5 starting shortstops. You bring them in the fall and you say, go compete. And maybe Gavin Guidry shows up on campus. He could be a middle infielder for you as well. Maybe some of these other signees. Who knows how it all plays out. But what you've done here is you have unmistakably made your team better defensively where you were so weak a year ago. Any of these 3 guys is better at third base than Jacob Berry was. Any of these 3 guys is better defensively at second base than Cade Doughty. Doughty's bat's unmistakable. It's why he's going to be a top 100 pick, maybe a second-round pick. Jordan Thompson, we know, can play any of those 3 spots at a high level. We've seen him do it. So you are unmistakably better defensively today than you were at the end of the season. That's what Jay Johnson's doing. Now, I said I wanted to talk about Jay as well and why he's having so much success right now. I'm not naive. I understand we live in an NIL culture, and yes, LSU is spending. It's very obvious they are. Talked about it yesterday. I think LSU's boosters are tired of watching Mississippi State and Ole Miss win national championships as they've done the last 2 years, and that has stirred a lot of emotion and want to within the program and the people that support it. I think that's an undeniable part of it. But there's a lot of programs that have tradition, that have won, that are spending in NIL, and Jay Johnson keeps winning these recruiting battles. So when it's close, you say, okay, what's been the difference? And as best I can tell, talking to people who cover recruiting around college baseball and scouts and people who are at all these elite events and everything, the big difference right now is that Jay Johnson is the one who is getting his behind on a plane and flying to go see these recruits, to go see these players. That many people may not know this, but that's not typically how it works in college baseball. You have these showcase events. The recruiting coordinator goes to the showcase events. You have recruiters that cover certain areas. A lot of times the head coach doesn't meet the prospect until they come to campus. I mean, you heard Jack Pineda last week on this show say he found out he was in the portal because Jay Johnson called him. Like, he had applied for the portal, but you never really know when your name pops up. But he found out he was in the portal because, boom, Jay Johnson was the first person that called him. Jay Johnson was on a plane to go see Christian Little the day he entered the portal. The next day, he was on a plane to go see Tommy White down in Florida. That's the big difference. Jay Johnson himself is the one getting on a plane, flying to go see these guys. And it's making a gigantic impact. You have a coach that right now is out hustling and out working other coaches. Now, he's going to have the pieces. Can you translate that into wins? That's the big question. And I mentioned it, and I'll continue to mention it. Tennessee was the best team in college baseball this year. They didn't make it to Omaha. Last year, Arkansas, best team in college baseball, didn't make it to Omaha. Just because you have the best team and the best pieces doesn't mean you're going to make it to Omaha and win. You've got to develop that talent, get them playing together, make the right decisions, and have them all perform. But if you don't have that talent, you can't win. And LSU didn't have that talent this year. Throughout the roster, through the pitching staff, everywhere. He's going to have it next year. So Carter Young becomes the latest LSU transfer commitment, 3-year starter at shortstop from Vanderbilt, and the baseball news cycle just won't stop. And I don't suspect it will, because as I mentioned, I think you're going to have more players enter the portal before July 1. And Jay, I'm telling you, right, it's 12:43 right now as we're live on this Tuesday. LSU is not done adding via the transfer portal to this roster. And I think they will add at least one more very prominent arm to this class. At least one more. All right, it's after further review. Man, a lot to do. We will, by the way, Chris Lee, our buddy who covers Vanderbilt at VandySports.com, he's going to be with us in hour 3. I want to ask him about Christian Little and Carter Young. What LSU's getting in those two guys from a guy who's watched every single game that they played in their college career. So that's coming up in hour 3. Glad to have you aboard with us. When we come back, there's significant news about Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield. Before you roll your eyes, the reason I'm not talking about their news around them. I don't care. But the reason you should care is because the Saints play Week 16 at Cleveland. And who's under center for Cleveland matters deeply for New Orleans this year. I want to talk about that next on AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds to remind you about the Baton Rouge General Hospital, expanding healthcare in the Baton Rouge area, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Remember, of course, they've got their Bluebonnet campus. They've got the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, which has its own emergency room, which means, yes, Ascension Parish, you now have your own emergency care closer than ever, thanks to the Baton Rouge General. Of course, when our community needed it the most, the Baton Rouge General reopened the Mid-City ER during the COVID pandemic. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. I tell you all the time. You can learn more. You can find out about their locations that they have. And, of course, all of the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations, which walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. It's the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Again, brgeneral.org to learn more. All of the different services and health services that they offer at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Learn more at brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org.
If home is where the heart is, A roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, rolling along. Glad to have you with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450. Jameis Winston posted a video on his Instagram. It's a workout video. Good to see him moving around as well as he is, throwing the ball, taking snaps under center. He's got that big brace on his left knee. You can go look at his Instagram if you want to see the video. It's posted a lot. A lot of people, well, if you actually go look at Twitter, what you're going to see is this goofy video of Jameis with like what looks like a shake weight that's actually a barbell. If you can imagine that. Well, if you're watching, there it is. But there's a workout that he's doing or an exercise he's doing where his feet are on an ab ball, and so he's elevated kind of in a bridge, and then he's doing bench press with this sort of shake weight barbell. Anyway, it looks goofy. It just looks goofy, and so he's getting clowned on social media for it. But I'm not so much going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the fact that you've got a dude that is clearly and fully committing himself to getting in great shape, rehabbing his knee, and being ready. Remember, he got hurt on Halloween. And that's a dude already participating in voluntary OTAs and out there in minicamp as well. We're not even in a training camp yet, let alone the preseason or the regular season. Dude's already out there. So that can't be lost. Massive props to Jameis for committing himself to being physically ready to go this early as much as he has. Dude's got a lot to prove. And he's got a lot of doubters. that he can certainly quiet. And Mickey Loomis, the Saints GM, did an interview on the Datitude podcast, and he talked about the confidence they have in Jameis Winston.
And so everyone has seen and understands the talent. The rest of it is just, look, understanding the position, developing as a quarterback, being a leader of your team. And I think Jameis has grown in every one of those areas. And I would say he would say that he's not a finished product yet, and yet, man, he's made a lot of progress. We like what we've seen. We like what we saw last year. We like what we saw the year before when he didn't play.
And all of that is, I think, very, very evident. To me, anyway. And maybe, look, maybe I'm a gigantic homer. I think if you listen to this show, I try very hard, almost to a fault, to not be a homer. Sometimes to the point where a lot of you accuse me of going the complete opposite direction. And that's fine. But the point remains, I think that Jameis Winston is everything Mickey Loomis just said. Physically, he's 100% that guy, and he has shown over and over and over again that mentally, from a maturity standpoint, he's ready to be that guy as well. Now he just has to go do it. And as much as people clown on him, he's going to have that opportunity. Now, there was other quarterback news out of the NFL today, and it's in Cleveland. And the reason I bring up Cleveland, and it's the only reason I even care about this right now, is because Week 16, the Saints play in Cleveland against the Browns. And today, Deshaun Watson is beginning his hearing with the NFL and the NFLPA. And also, Baker Mayfield, who, of course, is the former number 1 overall pick of the Browns, who has been excused from all of their offseason work, and the Browns have still yet to find a trading partner for Baker Mayfield. Baker was doing a camp in Norman, Oklahoma, and he essentially said of the Cleveland Browns, for that to happen, there'd have to be some reaching out, but we're ready to move on, I think, on both sides. That's a direct quote from Baker Mayfield saying both sides are ready to move on. Now, a major sticking point for Cleveland, of course, is the fact that Baker is owed $19 million this year, and there's no team that's been eager to pay him, to give up an asset to get Baker Mayfield, to then have to pay him $19 million this year. They've talked, there's been reports that the Browns have talked to Carolina, which that would be interesting, because now instead of the Saints facing Sam Darnold twice, you're talking about facing Baker Mayfield twice. That's a very different equation. But as of now, let's accept that it is what it is. Baker Mayfield's going to be playing somewhere in 2022 where we don't know yet. And if it's Carolina or Seattle, the Saints have both of them on the schedule, and Cleveland as well. So there's at least an outside shot that the Saints could be facing Baker Mayfield with one of those teams. But the thing that I was looking at is, and this is what I was considering, the Browns went and signed Jacoby Brissett as their backup, the backup for Deshaun Watson, their sort of insurance policy in the event that Watson's ineligible, he's suspended by the league, whatever the case may be. So if the Saints face Jacoby Brissett Week 16 in Cleveland, that's a pretty decided advantage for New Orleans, in my opinion anyway. Let me know if you disagree. But I started thinking about this in terms of the Saints' projected win totals for this year, out in Las Vegas, where they're projected to win 8 games. They're projected to go 8-9. That's what the odds makers have the Saints win total at 8, over under 8. And I started thinking of it in those terms relative to the quarterback matchups that the Saints are going to face. And that's not always a given. I mean, we saw the Saints with essentially Trevor Siemian last year beat Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. So it's not always a given that the better quarterback's going to win. We saw Daniel Jones come to the Dome and win. But generally speaking, if you have the better quarterback, you have an advantage in the game. And so when you look at the quarterback matchups that the Saints have this year, there's some where it's obvious you're at a disadvantage. You play Tampa twice. Tom Brady's better. That's not even a question. But the Saints have done well against Tampa. You're going to play Joe Burrow. You're going to play in Arizona against Kyler Murray. You're going to play at home against Las Vegas and Derek Carr. You're going to play against Baltimore and a former MVP in Lamar Jackson. There's some games where I don't even think it's really debatable. You're at a disadvantage at that position. But the more I look at it, there's more games on the schedule where the Saints, with Jameis Winston, as it looks today, are going to be better at the most important position on the field than their opponent. Let's look at this real quickly. You open, and there's another factor that's important here, which I'll get to. You open on the road Sunday, September the 11th at Atlanta. You're probably facing Marcus Mariota. Jameis and Mariota, of course, are 1-2 in their draft. I don't think there's anybody that would argue that the Saints would have the advantage in that game. Would argue against that, excuse me. The Saints with Jameis, healthy Michael Thomas, you drafted Chris Olave, you bring in Jarvis Landry, that defense, the Saints with Jameis have an advantage over the Falcons with Marcus Mariota. Then you play Tampa, of course, it's Tom Brady. Then you go to Carolina, Sam Darnold. The Saints with Jameis have an advantage over Carolina with Darnold. Then you play Minnesota in England with Kirk Cousins. I would give the edge to Cousins. Then you're home against Seattle with Drew Lock. That's advantage Saints. Saints with Jameis at home against Seattle with Drew Lock. Then you're going to play Burrow. Then you're at Arizona and Kyler. Then you're home against the Raiders with Carr, and you're home against Baltimore with Lamar. So you're at a disadvantage, I think, in all of those, at least at that position. Maybe not 1-53, but at that position. Then you're at Pittsburgh, y'all. And remember, I don't know if you saw the news today, but Pittsburgh is projecting to start Mitch Trubisky. Like, LOL. I mean, if it was Ben Roethlisberger, I'm not liking the Saints' chances. But on the road in Pittsburgh against Mitchell Trubisky, I'm going to go advantage Saints. You're home against the Rams and Stafford. But, y'all, then you're at San Francisco, and Trey Lance is likely going to be starting for the first time in his career. Now, we'll see how good Trey Lance is as a starter, and I think they have a lot of optimism, but it's still a guy who's going to be the starter for the first time in his career. Then you're at Tampa. We know that story. You're home against Atlanta. We talked about them already. Then you get to your stretch at Cleveland and Jacoby Brissett potentially. You're at Philly and Jalen Hurts, which I think you know how I feel about Hurts. I think he's a running back playing quarterback, and the more the league sees him, the more they're going to figure out, the more he's going to struggle. And then you're home against Carolina and Darnold. Now, some of that's subject to change, obviously, because we'll see what happens with Watson and Mayfield and how all that goes. But, man, I look at it, you're going to play Atlanta twice with Mariota. You're going to play Carolina twice with Darnold. You're going to play Seattle with Drew Lock. You're going to play at Pittsburgh with Trubisky, at San Francisco with Lance, at Cleveland with Brissett, and at Philly with Hurts. That's 9 games. That's 9 games right there. That's 9 games where you're better at the most important position on the field. Like, and think about the road opportunities. You're going to play at Atlanta, you play them twice, obviously. You're going to be at Atlanta, at Carolina, at Pittsburgh, at San Fran, at Cleveland, at Philly. 6 of those are on the road. The other 2 are home division games. 6 of those 9 games I mentioned are on the road, where you're going to be better under center than the team you're facing. The more I look at that, and the more I think about this schedule, look, it sucks that you got to play Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, and you're home against Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. You're home against the Rams and Matt Stafford. But at least those games are at home. 6 of your road games, you're better under center than your opponent. So, listen, I'm not trying to overstate the importance of what happens there in Cleveland with Watson and Mayfield, but whatever happens there will have a direct impact on New Orleans. Because if Watson's playing for Cleveland, they're a better team than you. If Baker Mayfield's playing for Cleveland, they're probably a better team than you. If Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback in Week 16 in Cleveland, I love the Saints' chance to go to Cleveland and win. And when you're talking about a team that a year ago missed the playoffs by 1 game, yeah, 1 game can be the pivotal thing that is the reason you're playing into January or why you're at home. So, yes, I do think what happens in Cleveland, what happens with Baker Mayfield, is something that if you're a Saints fan, you have to keep a keen eye on. Because if Baker's not playing in Cleveland, there's a good chance he's playing in Carolina or Seattle, and both of those teams are teams that are on your schedule this year. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm not giving you any deep commentary about Deshaun Watson, what happened or didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to say I don't care, but it's not fodder for this show. Where Baker Mayfield goes, I only care because of how it might affect New Orleans this season. But the big picture is I really like the way the Saints schedule plays out because you have tough games where you're disadvantaged at quarterback at home, and 6 of your road games this year, you're better at quarterback than the team you're going to face, especially if Jameis hits that curve like I think he will and like the Saints organization thinks he will. All right, so after further review, let me know if you got any thoughts on that. You can always email me, tweet me at Matt Moscona. You jump in the Bayou for chat, or you can text me in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Quick break. We'll come back, go around the SEC. Don't you move.
AFR.
Y'all, there's a storm out in the Gulf. It's already brewing. Storm season is almost here. Are you ready? Are you ready for storm season? What happens if we have a power outage? Last year for Ida, we lost power for a week at our house, and it was miserable. We had to pack everything up and go stay with my in-laws because Drew has medicines and things he needs that have to stay cold. He couldn't be in a house with no power. That'll never happen to us again because of Schutz Electric. We finally did it. We called Schutz Electric. We had a whole home generator, standby generator, Generac, installed at our home. So whenever we lose power again, no worries. Power goes out, boom, generator immediately powers on and powers the entire house. Can you imagine, like, swimming in your pool, enjoying AC and TV and all, whenever the power's out everywhere? That's our reality now. It can be yours as well. Remember, whole home generators are way more affordable than you think, and financing is available through Schutz. Check them out online, cesofla.com, cesofla.com.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information,
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, it definitely pays. It definitely pays to be living in LA if you want a TV gig. Andrew Whitworth, of course, spent the bulk of his career in Cincinnati before finishing his career out in LA. He has teamed up with Amazon now for their Prime Video studio team. You probably know that, of course, Prime Video has Thursday Night Football now, and so they have really gone kind of gangbusters with who they've hired. So it's Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on the play-by-play. Well, the Thursday Night Football studio show there for Amazon now, it's going to be hosted by Carissa Thompson, of course, primarily with Fox, formerly of ESPN. So she'll host the Amazon studio show. They had already announced Tony Gonzalez, Richard Sherman, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Marshawn Lynch as part of the coverage on Thursday, and now they've added Aqib Talib and Andrew Whitworth. Talib retired a year ago. Whitworth retired after winning the Super Bowl this year with the Rams. But the thing for me that I'm very excited about here for Whitworth is, and when he neared the end of his career there in this final season, won the Super Bowl and of course retired, we talked several times about it, but I think Andrew Whitworth is making late in his career a compelling Hall of Fame argument. And when you start to look at the notoriety he gained as a 40-year-old left tackle, something that hadn't been done in several decades in the NFL, actually, it had only been done a handful of times, have an offensive lineman play into his 40s in the NFL, to still be at that elite of a level, then to win a Super Bowl, to win Walter Payton Man of the Year. Basically, Andrew Whitworth was a great player for a lot of years in Cincinnati, but he played on teams that were not great teams. And Cincinnati had their run there with Dalton where they made the playoffs, never won a playoff game, but where they made the playoffs. But going to L.A. in that media market where his story got told more, it definitely elevated the awareness. And as much as you hate to say it this way, it's a reality that the Hall of Fame, in some respects, there's campaigning that has to go on. There are no doubt first ballot Hall of Famers that will always be that. But when you have a position like offensive line where you don't have statistics to back up the performance, sometimes it has to be this. It has to be where there's some notoriety and familiarity with the player when he goes from being borderline or marginal to getting over the hump and being there. And I believe Andrew Whitworth had a Hall of Fame worthy career and should be a Hall of Famer. But playing in LA, winning the Super Bowl, having that story told, and now getting a TV gig is only going to keep him in the public consciousness, the public awareness, and I think eventually will get him over the hump and get him into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm hopeful for him. I'm fired up to see him on Amazon TV, to see how Amazon Prime, see how it works. Honestly, I'm just fired up. I'm really interested to see the whole Amazon thing. I mean, Amazon bought those Thursday night rights not because they give a good gosh darn about football. It's because they just want to convert users to Prime. That's all. I mean, they just want you to buy trinkets on everything on Amazon, and if the NFL is a vehicle to onboard more users onto Amazon, then that's all they really want. So I'm really interested to see how the broadcast goes, and Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit and all the lot, but it's going to be good to see Andrew Whitworth stay in the public eye as well. All right, we're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans, gmfsmortgage.com. Yep, rates ticked up again, but it's still a great time to buy because home values, while home values may slow, their appreciation may slow, we're not seeing home values depreciate. So you're still making a great investment. And even if rates are higher now than they were 6 months ago or 4 months, 3 months ago, which they are, when rates inevitably go down again, refinance. GMFS Mortgage is there for the whole thing. GMFSmortgage.com. You want to do a cash out refinance, you want to take some equity out of your home to do a home improvement project, whatever it may be, GMFS Mortgage can help. get in touch with a local loan officer, gmfsmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions. The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Mike Leach has received a 2-year contract extension there in Stark Vegas, baby. Leach's new contract now runs through 2025. A 4-year term. It's the longest allowable by Mississippi law, by the way. So his original deal was 4 years at $5 million per season. He was only under contract through 2023. So getting in front of this now staves off a lot of those conversations at SEC Media Days and the like. A Bulldogs only 11-13 in Leach's 2 seasons in Starkville. Of course, the Bulldogs are going to have a rough go this year. Vanderbilt rotates off their schedule. Georgia rotates on. They also have to play at Bama, Ole Miss, LSU, and Kentucky. Good luck.
The Florida Gators.
Florida has gotten a commitment from Jacksonville 4-star defensive back Sharif Denson. He committed to the Gators on Tuesday. Denson picked the Gators over Miami and Texas A&M. He is the second addition to the Gators 2023 class in the defensive backfield. They have 9 verbal commitments presently there in Gainesville. Denson is the nation's number 206 overall prospect and the number 24 cornerback in the country.
The Texas A&M Aggies.
Comings and goings for the Aggies recruiting class. Linebacker Damian Sanford, 6'2", 210. He is committed to Texas A&M over offers from Texas, LSU, Alabama, TCU, and others. He is the 6th commitment in the class of 2023 for the Aggies, the first linebacker pledge in the class. That's the comings. The goings is that defensive lineman Johnny Bowens has announced he's decommitted from Texas A&M. He announced for the Aggies on Christmas Day over offers from LSU, Miami, Texas, and Baylor, but now says he will not be part of Texas A&M's class. 6'2", 265-pound defensive lineman, the number 238 prospect nationally, the number 36 defensive lineman in the country.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas got a commitment from defensive lineman Steven Johnson, 6'4", 310-pounder. He's Arkansas's 3rd commitment of the week, joining defensive back R.J. Johnson, linebacker Alex Sanford. Johnson chose the Hogs over Georgia Tech, Maryland, Liberty, Vanderbilt, and others. He has not yet been evaluated by 247 Sports, so no star ranking yet.
The Missouri Tigers.
And a little basketball note here. Former Mizzou point guard Phil Pressey, maybe you remember him, he's retired from his professional playing career, and he's joining Dennis Gates' staff as a graduate assistant coach. You might remember Pressey. He was at Mizzou from 2010 to 2013. He set career records for assists and steals in just 3 years on campus. He was first-team All-SEC in 2013. Went undrafted, played 148 NBA games with Boston, Philly, and Phoenix before playing the last 5 years overseas. But Phil Pressey now joining Dennis Gates' staff at Missouri. And there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. That's Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We did talk a good bit of recruiting there and around the SEC, and there's another tidbit that we're going to get to in 15 minutes at the start of hour 2. I kind of wanted to make sure I left myself plenty of time to do this. But Derek Williams, 5-star from Westgate, has committed to Texas. And I want to talk about that because I got asked the question this morning, like, is Brian Kelly struggling to recruit the state of Louisiana? And I do have some thoughts on that, so I want to get to that. We'll do that in about 15 minutes from right now. It's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Love telling you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, not just because I endorse Hudco, but because I'm a partner in Hudco. So I love telling you about it because I'm actually putting my name behind it. This is me and my partners at Hudco Roofing with 20 years experience in Louisiana. We love to serve the state of Louisiana. Louisiana born, Louisiana run, Louisiana products. We use CertainTeed shingles manufactured at the Shreveport, Louisiana plant. So when you call Hudco, you are calling a local company that's here, that's been here, that will be here. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Roof repairs. We have a repair crew that handles even the smallest repair jobs, all the way up to gigantic roof replacements. It's for your home or for a commercial building. We've done apartment complexes. We've done drugstores and All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge and Celtic Group. It doesn't matter. A new construction as well. We'd love to help. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, we'll knock out a quick break and wrap up hour number 1. Glad you're here on AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's number.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge wants to recognize a member of our community with an honorary ESPN ESPY Award. This year, the ESPYs are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and we are looking for local athletes, administrators, or community volunteers who actively work to expand access to sports for girls. Visit 1045ESPN.com now through Wednesday, July 6th to submit a nomination. We'll name our ESPY recipient on Wednesday, July 13th, then tune in to the ESPYs presented by Capital One on Saturday, July 20th at 7 p.m. on WBRZ TV.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. Real quick, I get it. It's June 28th, and there's not many people thinking about college basketball rankings, etc. But just a very, 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 very quick note. So ESPN has updated their way too early college basketball top 25 now, considering the draft is come and gone, and what players will be there, won't be there next year, all that stuff. And as far as the SEC, they have 5 teams ranked. Kentucky at 4, Arkansas at 10, Auburn, which of course loses both Jabari Smith and Walker Kessler at 12, Tennessee 1 spot behind at 13, and then Alabama at 19. No LSU. They also have the next 5: Michigan, Miami, St. Louis, Xavier, and Ohio State. So LSU not in the top 30. I only bring this up, and again, I'm not throwing dirt on Matt McMahon, the LSU basketball program, the team. I think he's going to do a wonderful job. I keep bringing this stuff up because continuously what you see around college basketball is the expectation that LSU is not going to be great this year in basketball. There was a transfer portal ranking of guys that hit the portal. The consensus there, the top 100 players that transferred this year in college basketball, the collective players that left LSU were ranked higher than the collective players LSU signed. We looked at an absurd exercise, but it was Joe Lunardi's way too early, bracketology a couple of weeks ago, and they had LSU among the next 4 out. So not in the field, not first 4 out, but the next 4 out. And then now you have this way too early top 25 where LSU's not in the top 30. The 25 were the next 5. So I guess my point is, I just want to make sure that people keep expectations in check to understand just how far Matt McMahon has to go. As impressive as it is to have lost all 13 players to the draft or the portal, and to have put together the roster, the manner in which they did, to where you're even talking about the possibility of the tournament, is incredible. But this basketball program is still going to have a very long way to go. You're still going to face sanctions, very likely a postseason ban included, and an entirely new roster with a new coaching staff that's going to have to learn to work together. So, again, I'm not deep diving into college basketball on June 28th, but they've updated a way too early top 25. LSU's not in it. It's just another example, another piece of evidence to suggest just keep your expectations in check early for Matt McMahon. He's going to get there. I think they got the right guy. I think he's going to do amazing. Just got to give him time to do it. All right, it's after further review. Real quick, you can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. That's a text app that goes right to my phone, so you can text it anytime. I'm happy to respond when I can. Phil sent a text that said, it seems like White, that's Tommy White, will be content with DHing, and Joe Bear could be the odd man out because he can't defend. I want to be very clear about something, and I'll say it again. I think I'm going to reiterate this a bajillion times between now and the start of next baseball season. Tommy White is not coming here to DH. The same way Jacob Berry was not coming here to DH. A lot of you said that. Hey, but Berry can't play third. He can't play right. DH him. He didn't come here to DH. It's about draft value. If you can't play in the field, it minimizes your draft value. Even if you're Sonny DeShera and all you do is stand on first base and catch the ball, you got to play somewhere in the field. So Tommy White's not coming here to DH. Again, I'm not saying He's never going to DH. There may be opportunities where he DHs, but he's going to play first. He can play third as well, and that's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. I also think you're not done seeing guys enter the portal, as we've talked about. I'm not comfortable naming names, so I don't want you to think I'm breaking news, which I'm not, but you could see other guys that were contributors this year leave, which could open up spots. We'll see. But Tommy White's not coming here to DH. And, I'll say this again for the bajillionth time, Trey Morgan is not going to be a first baseman at the next level. For his monetary value, he has to go play the outfield. If he wants to improve for the Scouts, Trey Morgan's got to go to the outfield, which he may do this year. All right, it's After Further Review, Hour 2 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com, celebrating 75 years in business. Get to the website, Michelli.com. Get the vowels right, Michelli, Michelli.com. Their experts service measurement tools and equipment of all different makes and models. Precision instruments like lab balances and warehouse scales. They do it all. ISO 17025 accreditation is available as well. If it's calibration or preventative maintenance or weighing systems, installation, equipment repair, they do it all. So many people know Michelli over the years because of their scales. They're the largest distributor of scales in our country. But what people then do is they go to the website, they go, I didn't realize you did that. Well, they do. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com. Check them out online to learn more about what they do, learn how you can ship your equipment to them or how they can come to you. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Online, Michelli.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A mega extension for Washington receiver Terry McLaurin. ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting he's signing a 3-year extension worth up to $71 million in new money, putting McLaurin among the NFL's top 5 highest-paid receivers. NBA Jazz finalizing a 5-year deal to make Celtics assistant Will Hardy the franchise's next head coach, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Kyrie Irving's made his decision, told The Athletic he's opting into his $36.5 million option with the Nets. That might not mean the drama's over for Brooklyn, though, explains ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
The people that I talk to in the league are skeptical that Kyrie is going to be all for one and one for all on this. See in the fall, like you thought last year was bad, just you wait. So again, I don't know. I would have thought that this was a depressurizing element for the Nets, but I'm telling you, not everybody in the league thinks so.
Brian Windhorst on the Hoop Collective podcast. Woj also reports Russell Westbrook plans to exercise his $47 million option to return to the Lakers. Phillies outfielder Bryce Harper slated for thumb surgery tomorrow.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Alondra Villarreal. You don't have to kill... Oh, Mr. Toby Thompson. You don't have to kill Toby for the whole thing, Alondra. Just like whenever you play Selena Gomez.
Okay, I got it. It'll be better the last hour.
I said Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. It's fine.
There's a difference between Selena and Selena Gomez?
There's a huge difference between Selena and
Okay,
Selena
who's
Gomez.
Selena?
Selena was like in the 90s.
Okay.
Was a huge Mexican star, but she's from Texas.
They made a movie about her.
They made a movie about her with J-Lo.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
J-Lo. Yes.
Yeah. J-Lo played her in a movie.
I know J-Lo.
Yeah.
All right. I'm on it. I'll figure it all out. We'll talk some beer with Lee Feinswog. 1 hour from right now, Chris Lee, VandySports.com. He's going to be with us. If you missed news, Carter Young, 3-year starter at shortstop from Vanderbilt. He's transferring to LSU. That after Vandy pitcher Christian Little announced he's transferring to LSU. So we'll find out about the 2 Vanderbilt transfers into LSU from a guy that's seen every pitch of their career, every game of their careers, coming up 1 hour from right now. You probably heard the news on Monday that Derek Williams committed to Texas. If you don't know who Derek Williams is, he's a 5-star safety out of Westgate. So it's a guy from the Lafayette area, from the Acadiana area, who is one of the top players in Louisiana for this recruiting cycle, and he is not going to be staying home. He's committed to Texas now, and he sort of follows this Arch Manning parade to Austin. We talked about it, but Arch Manning, of course, is committed to Texas. He did so on Thursday. Since Arch Manning committed, Texas has gotten 7 commitments. I mean, he has been the Pied Piper. Even Williams said, I knew Manning was likely going there, but I was just making sure that impacted my decision going to Texas. Of course it did. He's been sort of a Pied Piper of sorts, and when Arch pledged to Texas, a lot of other guys decided, all right, well, I'll jump in the boat too. Well, it's Derek Williams, for what it's worth, is the third best in the 247 composite. He's the third best player in the state of Louisiana. Arch Manning, number 1, Shelton Sampson, number 2, and then Derek Williams, number 3. Eli Holstein, the quarterback out of Zachary, who's committed to Bama, he's number 4. I was asked this morning if Brian Kelly was having trouble recruiting Louisiana. And I think it's a fair question. It's a fair question. I don't necessarily think the answer is yes. I'll get to it in a second, but I think it's a fair question. Considering everything people have said, Northeast guy, spent his career in the Midwest, comes down to Louisiana, and he's got to learn the SEC and develop relationships and all that stuff. And that's fair. It's a very fair question to ask. But a couple of things. Number one, Brian Kelly, during his time at Notre Dame, has had recruiting wins not only in the South, but in Louisiana. From Jerry Tillery in North Louisiana to Logan Diggs in New Orleans. Brian Kelly had, and those are both guys that LSU wanted, that he came down here and got to South Bend. He's recruited Texas and Florida, and you have to. When you're at Notre Dame, you have to recruit nationally. So he has had recruiting wins. On top of that, he intentionally added guys to the staff with ties here, like Frank Wilson and like Joe Sloan. Very intentional about the way he went about building his staff, kind of dividing between guys that know him really well and that he knows well and guys that know this area really well. I think it was very self-aware. So no, I don't necessarily think that's the issue. I think very obviously NIL is something where LSU is getting its tail kicked. If you're an LSU fan and you can't acknowledge that, you're just being naive. If you talk to anyone who covers recruiting at any level, from recruiting people at any of the recruiting services, to scouts, to high school coaches, to players and parents of players and coaches at other colleges, they'll all tell you the same thing. Boosters, that LSU is getting its behind kicked in NIL. And it's obvious. We've talked about it a ton. It's not, in my opinion, just very quickly, is it's going to take what just happened in baseball for LSU's money boosters to really get motivated to get going. LSU just watched Mississippi State and Ole Miss in back-to-back years win their program's first national title and said, enough of this. Let's go. What do we need to do? That's what galvanized them. You can't rest on your laurels. And maybe the same thing's going to happen in LSU football. The program's going to have to regress enough, and you're going to have to watch A&M go win recruiting battles and become a top 10 team and to say, okay, enough. What do we need to do? And maybe that's it, but we'll see. I'll also say that in 2022, in a compressed time, right? They got 5 of the top 12 players in Louisiana, including guys like Will Campbell and Walker Howard and Emory Jones. And then you lost some guys who wanted to come to LSU specifically because of NIL, and one of them is Jacoby Matthews, who we've talked about a lot here. I went through that whole offer sheet situation. Kid wanted to go to LSU. A&M the A&M collective threw a ton of cash at him that he couldn't turn away from. So you lost a 5-star safety that wanted to be here because of NIL, and that's a very real situation. But if I look ahead to 2023, and I think context matters. It always matters. If you look at the top recruits in Louisiana for 2023, Arch Manning is the number 1 player in the country, and of course the number 1 player in Louisiana, and he's going to Texas. But you were never getting Arch Manning. As much as I and others try to tell you and let you down gently over the years, although I didn't try to let you down gently, I was very blunt, that Arch Manning was never coming here. You air quote, lost Arch Manning, but you never had Arch Manning. You were never getting him. So forget about that. The number 2 player in the state for this coming year is Shelton Sampson. And Shelton Sampson is considered a heavy LSU lean. That's a 5-star receiver out of Cali High, who's thought to be an LSU lean, if not lock. If you look at crystal ball predictions on 247 Sports, 100% of them have him going to LSU. Derek Williams, we just talked about, out of Westgate. It was a Texas-Alabama battle for Derek Williams. He wasn't coming here anyway. Eli Holstein was never coming here. That's the 4th best player in the state. Now, Jaden Ausberry is one where you start to get to it and you say, Jaden Ausberry's a legacy. His dad has worked at played for LSU and has worked in LSU athletic administration for a long time. That's a 5-star linebacker on your campus. You need to find a way to get in the mix and get that kid. The sixth best player in the state is Lance Hurd, who a lot of people seem, especially after this camp, to think he might be leaning toward LSU. Anyway, you go on, and we'll see how the rest of this class plays out. But some of the questions, I think, are valid. But I think we have to reiterate a couple things. Number one, you got to recalibrate your thinking on recruiting because of the portal and because of NIL. You are going to lose or miss out on kids that you normally would hit because of NIL. There are players that you would normally get that other schools are going to be able to pay more, and you're just going to miss out on those guys. That's unfortunate, but it's part of the reality. But the flip side of it is the transfer portal allows you to make good. If you miss out on a kid in February or November, the early signing period, you can make up on the back end with the portal. I'll give you an example. I just mentioned Jacoby Matthews. It's a 5-star safety from Ponchatoula. You would have loved to have had him in this class. You didn't get him. You needed safety help, so what did you do? You went to Arkansas, and you had Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks. Let me ask you a question. For 2022, one season only, who would you rather have on your roster? Freshman Jacoby Matthews or 2 senior captains with 4 years of SEC experience in Brooks and Fouché? Matthews is the better pro prospect. Matthews probably has the better college career over 3 years in College Station. This year, who's better? Give me the dudes with a ton of experience. So you can make good on the back end with the portal. Now, I will say this, and this is the flip side of it, which is part of the part of being self-aware. Okay, where if you're an LSU fan, you have to be willing, and not just fans, but if you're the coaches, you have to be willing and be aware of this as well. Camp season just came and went, and LSU has a handful of commitments. It's 6 commitments. 6 commitments after your elite camp season. I mean, if you're listening around the SEC, I'm running through every school. Boom, boom, commit. It's all it is right now. You have camp season, summers, and guys are committing. LSU's got 6. The highest rated is a 4-star tight end out of St. Louis. Of your 6 commits, Trey Holly, the running back from Farmerville, who's a 4-star, he's your only commit from Louisiana. So it's fair to ask the question and to wonder what's going on there. And of the players I just mentioned, of the 6 commits, 1 is a top 150 guy. That's the tight end Mac Markway, who's number 147 in the country. None are in the top 100 nationally. It's a slow start to this class. I'm not panicking, but it is a slow start to the class. And I've pointed out, look, Bama's only sitting on 7 commits right now. It ain't like they're light years ahead, but of the 7 commits that Alabama has right now, 5 are in the top 150. And they're favored, air quotes, to land a dozen more guys in the top 150. The only one LSU's favored right now to get is Shelton Sampson. So I'm not going to panic about a recruiting class on June the 28th. Please don't misunderstand me. But at the same time, you have to be willing to look with a critical eye and say, is it fair to think they should be further along in this class right now? They should be in the mix with more top guys, not only nationally, but in the state of Louisiana? And the answer to that is yes. And that just means that they got a lot of work to do between now and the November signing period to get this class on track. Because if they don't, then you become a program that continues to be beholden to the transfer portal. And my opinion is you can't win a national championship building your roster through the portal. You win a national championship by having great signing classes and supplementing through the portal at spots where you're weak or where you miss. But if you think you're going to add half of your class every year via the portal, then you're never building a consistent culture within your program and developing guys in the way that you want them consistently. So Not freaking out. Not freaking out that you had a 5-star safety, Derek Williams, commit to Texas. It stinks. But there's going to be other 5-stars and other great safeties. Evaluate them, get them on campus. But you are also right to ask the question if this recruiting class should be further along than it is right now. All right, Shea Dixon, by the way, is going to be with us in studio for a full hour on Thursday, in hour number 2, answering your questions, talking recruiting. So it's a good time to do it during the summer. We'll look forward to that. All right, Feinswog's next, and we're just going to talk about beer. Stick around.
AFR.
Speaking of beer, the best place in town to eat award-winning jumbo chicken wings, watch sports on TV, and, of course, drink ice-cold draft beer. That would be Pluckers, Nicholson, or Bluebonnet. Dine and carry out or delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. It's Tuesday, and Tuesday is a spectacular night to get by Pluckers, especially during the summer. Because Tuesday, kids eat free. And at this point in the summer, when the kids have been out of school, they are probably driving you bat bleep crazy. So, a great opportunity to get the whole family out of the house to have a good time, have a great meal, and do so affordably Tuesday night at Pluckers Kids Eat Free. So, get them by Pluckers, either location, eat 28 different flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, drink ice-cold draft beer, watch sports on TV. Tonight, let the kids eat for free. And also on Tuesday nights, sports trivia with our buddy Hunt Palmer. That's 8:30, Nicholson location, only 5 rounds, live action trivia, win Pluckers gift cards. Just get on by Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall, where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee, how are you?
I'm doing well, Matt. How you doing?
I'm a little on edge because anytime I get a text from you that says you want to talk about something and you include "trust me," I'm a little leery because inherently I don't trust you and your creative liberties. So, what did you want to talk about that has me very on edge?
Well, let's start with first your trip to New York.
Okay.
Because I was glad that you guys got a little vacation, celebrating early a big birthday for you.
Yes.
And you, of course, went to Yankee Stadium on Friday night.
We did.
And tell me about going to the game and how things went.
So, thrilled. Friday, we spent part of the afternoon at Legends, which of course is the LSU bar, quite literally in the shadow of the Empire State Building. I mean, you walk out of Legends, look up. I mean, you were looking directly up at the Empire State Building. It's not like on the same block. It is the block. So I had a great time. Got to meet Noel, one of the owners there at Legends. Awesome dude. Really got to experience that, which was fun. Took the Metro North to Yankee Stadium. Great trip. Took 20 minutes on the Metro North up to the Bronx. Walk over a footbridge.
Matt, stop. It's the subway. There's no metros in New York.
No. We took the Metro. We did not take the subway. We took the Metro North, which is
Metro,
which is an above ground train. Yes, nobody takes the subway anymore because it's too dangerous. This was we left out of Grand Central, and it's an above ground train. Yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we did because we were told by Noel and others, who's a former New York City police officer, by the way, as well, that do not get on the subway. So we did. So we took the Metro North. We get off. You walk over a footbridge, and you're right there at Yankee Stadium. Everything was wonderful. It's palatial and gorgeous, and everything that you would think about it. I wish we had more time to walk the entire stadium. Didn't. I splurged, got us seats 11 rows behind the Yankees dugout, which was incredible. You could order via an app at your seat. Eric and I had a seat with a table between us, so tons of room. It was all wonderful. The one complaint I have about the stadium is if you go stand in the concession line, there are no TVs at the concession stands to watch the game while you're in line. So that's very unusual.
Well,
but I think the reason is because they want you to order at your seat on the app and have people bring it to you. So they can probably upcharge you for it. But either way, it was incredible. I mean, I got to watch Bregman and LeMahieu, two guys I covered at LSU. Each got a hit in the game that we were at on Wednesday. There was a real lack of offense, but I got to see Verlander and Severino, two guys at the top of their game. Even Verlander at 39 is still awesome. I mean, he was dotting 97, 98 at 39 years old, which is incredible. But, yeah, man, I wish they had won the game, but it was great to see Bregman and the Astros win. And, and then the next day when the Astros...
Okay, so now you got to stop. That's why I was setting you up for that part. Okay. So there's three things I always wanted to have happen for me at a Major League Baseball game.
Okay.
All right. One was see a triple play. I've never seen a triple play at a Major League Baseball game.
Okay.
But I did see one at a minor league baseball game. We'll get to that because that's the part where you say trust me, where you worry about me saying trust you.
Okay.
The other was catch a foul ball. Who doesn't want to, not one that like bounces off some seats or something, but legitimately catch either a foul ball or a home run?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I was lucky enough to catch a couple of them at the old Yankee Stadium. And one was off the bat of Roy White, who old Yankee fans will remember from a million years ago, but sitting in the upper deck, first row, third baseline.
Okay.
Actually had a sandwich, had the sandwich in my left hand, took a bite of it, had it in my mouth with the hand on the sandwich, and White hits a foul ball right up at me. Snare it with the right hand, like nothing to it, and just sit down. Now, today's
sandwich
world,
in the left hand still?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sandwich left, got the ball on the right. Yeah, got it.
And like all those publicity you get today for babies, guys holding a beer and a baby and catches the foul ball.
Yes.
But in that game, probably there were 4,000 people at Yankee Stadium that day. And had I not caught it, it probably would have been right behind me on the floor. So I got that. So the one thing that I have never seen, and I have been to countless, Major League Baseball games. I was lucky enough to cover the Royals for a few seasons at home. I've never seen a no-hitter. I've never seen a no-hitter in softball. I've never seen a no-hitter in, Little League Baseball. I've just never seen a no-hitter. I've been to a lot of games where it's been close. And when you went Friday night and did not get to see the no-hitter the next day, even though, it was a multiple-pitcher no-hitter, I just had a laugh.
So I'm actually okay with it because I would have been so my brother randomly was at a game in Houston a few years ago when the Astros were playing the Rangers and Yu Darvish was pitching for the Rangers. And Yu Darvish was, I think, an out away from either a no-hitter or a perfect game. I don't remember exactly now. Someone could fact check me. And anyway, my brother was randomly in Houston and went to this game. And he's not like my brother's not this huge sports guy, right? And he was at the game and damn near saw this no-hitter, perfect game. I don't remember which it was. And then the Astros broke it up late. I just couldn't believe that people, Houston fans, were cheering for the possibility of seeing their team no-hit or the perfect game. I get that you get to see history, but I wouldn't want to see it against my team. Like, I would want it to be broken up. The other bit of very random, super lucky history is my dad was in in Atlanta on business, randomly got tickets to watch the Braves and the Diamondbacks, Randy Johnson pitching for the Diamondbacks through a perfect game. My dad got to see Randy Johnson's perfect game just randomly in Atlanta one day. Yeah. I was like, keep your ticket stub, buy me a program, get anything you can from it. I still have it all in a box in my office. But yeah, it's I just yes.
Well,
it would have been cool. I'm actually glad I did not see it. I actually would not have liked to have seen my team no hit at Yankee Stadium.
Well, I like I said, the other piece that I only got to see one time. So I was at Syracuse University. It's in the 70s. A buddy of mine who I also had gone to Yankees opening days with, the Yankees AAA team was going to open the next week. And we said, let's go out and get tickets. So we drove out and there was somebody at the box office. Well, just go inside and pick out whatever seat you want and then we'll sell it for you. That's how much different AAA baseball was then. So we picked out our seats and, the next week we went to the opening day and a guy named Bob Didier comes up. There's runners on first and second and no out for the Richmond Braves. And he hits a shot to the third baseman who steps on third, throws to second for two, back to first, triple play. And Didier, who I believe was a catcher, is like still halfway down the line. And that was the triple play that I saw. Years later, putting two and two together, he's, of course, from a very famous Baton Rouge baseball family. Didier went to Glen Oaks High School.
Okay.
His son,
Didier?
Beau, he had an uncle, Gerald Didier, his father, Mel Didier. There was all sorts of Didiers. So that's my random triple play story, but I still have never seen a no-hitter. And that's why I said, trust me, because I was going to go somewhere. So it wasn't as bad as you thought it could have been.
Someone's going to check me on this. Did LSU, thought LSU had a triple play. I know we saw Rafe Rhymes get an inside the park home run, which is bizarre. He had a ball, went under the bench.
Inside the park home runs are so exciting. I love those because normally it means the ball takes a funky bounce.
Yes.
Maybe it hits the wall and goes somewhere, and you got somebody's got to have some wheels up there, and that's exciting.
Well, Rafe Rhymes had no wheels.
Lots of those.
Rafe Rhymes was as slow a player as has ever been at LSU. Which I think I would say that if Rafe were sitting right here, and he'd probably laugh about it and agree. But
no doubt.
He had one where it went down the right field line and was down in the bullpen kicking around, maybe under the bench, the bullpen bench down there or something, and and he scored. Anyway, so I'm good. I'm surprised. I thought someone would tweet me or shoot me a text about that Yu Darvish game, and now I need to look it up, but because it's going to drive me crazy. But there was a game, but Yu Darvish was near perfect game or no hitter in Houston, and so even if, and I know your fandom has been somewhat mutated. It's the nature. Yeah. It's the nature of this job, right? Like, it's just hard to be a fan a lot of times. But would you want to see, if you wanted to see a no-hitter, even if it was at the expense of your team, or you were there, you'd be good with it?
Yeah, I just would really like. I mean, I'm going to go to so few Major League Baseball games probably the rest of my life.
What about
but
when
I'll
you
still
were a
try
kid?
to go to. I don't remember how I would have felt about that. I mean, I know, I went to see the Yankees a lot when I was a kid, and they never had anybody when I was who could have pitched a no-hitter until later on. Ron Guidry, thinking of, and they got all the great teams of the mid to late 70s with Ron Guidry and Catfish Hunter and those guys. There was that chance.
Here was.
I forget. So long
Darvish.
ago, I can't.
Yu Darvish. Sorry, I found it.
It's
Yu
okay.
Darvish was 1 out away from a perfect game on April the 2nd of 2013. That was it.
That's it.
That was
so. Anyway, I hope all baseball fans get a chance to catch a foul ball, see a triple play, and get in on a no-hitter. The no-hitter is pretty rare in the grand scheme of things, although there seem to be more of them the last decade than previously, but some baseball geek could have to tell you that.
Before I ask you about beer, I did mention last hour Matt McMahon, the way too early top 25 from ESPN. Tigers not in it. Would you think that LSU basketball, with what you know right now, should they be a tournament team this year?
No.
Okay.
And as an LSU note, I was glad to see Darius Days get a free agent contract or at least a summer league contract with the Spurs. I really hope he gets rewarded for staying in school and doing all the right things and having a good year. I was glad to see he got with the Spurs.
I agree. And Sharif O'Neal with the Lakers. Just very candidly, though, Lee, Darius Days, he's just not he doesn't have an NBA skill set. Like, I think he can play professionally for a long time overseas. I don't see how he benefits an NBA roster. He just doesn't have the skill set to do it.
Yeah, big body, can step out, shoot the three. I don't know if he can cover, if he's fast enough, but you just want to see guys like that who are good guys who worked really hard in college, got better, stayed in school for the right reasons. Yeah, you just hope that they get rewarded, but probably not.
But Lee, playing a decade internationally, living abroad, making a lot of money to play basketball, like that's a nice reward if that's what it is for Darius Days.
Oh, no doubt. And do you want to get a ding?
I would love that.
So retired LSU volleyball coach Fran Flory, her daughter Lindsay, who
you can hit it.
Is thank you, a U High product who played at LSU for her mom, is going back to start her 4th year as a pro in Germany, and she's one of those kids who also grinded, got a break coming out, got a chance, and the kids like that, and not just that sport, but any sport, there's a lot of money that's tax free. They take care of you. You have translators. They give you an apartment. You have drivers, and an opportunity to see that part of the world or a part of the world that you wouldn't see and get paid for it, and you get to play sports. So you're right. I mean, in the case of Days, it could be an international player. But I hope it works out for him one way or another.
It wouldn't be a weekly visit with Lee if we didn't mention volleyball. And it wouldn't be a weekly visit with Lee unless we mentioned beer. How about that?
What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans?
Beer.
Can't get enough of it. How we really love it. Makes me think I'm a man. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Got my belly out to here. I could not refuse it. I could really use a beer.
All right, take it away.
Oh, they owe you a ding for you saying volleyball in the last one. There you go.
Okay, that's fine. I was more thinking you when you say it, but that's okay.
Well, that's okay. All right, so it's just hot, right? And these last couple of days have been kind of nice, a little cloud cover, but it's just hot. So try this one, Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy. It's
Give
only
the dog some
4.2%. Oh yeah, well they all the dogs in my neighborhood like to sip a little spilled beer. The Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy, as they say, our own unique take on Franz Kugler's original Munich tavern tradition. Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy is our traditional Weiss beer with refreshing natural lemonade flavor that makes it the perfect summer beer. This one, Matt. What's with the loud music? Pairs with barbecue chicken, fruit salads, watermelon, and freshly caught grilled fish. Go get yourself a fish, Matt, and drink some Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy.
I would not mind buying fish. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not gonna catch a fish and like fillet it and all that sort of stuff.
I'm just reading you from the liner notes.
Got it.
Anyway, seriously, for us beer drinkers, Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, it's real nice. It's refreshing. And on a hot day like today, you can sit outside, sip one. You'll be glad you did.
He is Lee Feinswog. Visit volleyballmag.com.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lee. Have a great day.
Bye.
This is After Further Review. Stick around.
AFR.
So I keep telling you that we're at this time, you'll understand it, but where everything costs more. So people are trying to figure out, how do I either make more money or how do I save money? A great way to start, Insurance Network of Louisiana. I love sharing these testimonials. AFR listener named Joseph finished his auto, home, and umbrella package with Jay over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. Had been with Allstate for 38 years. How about this? Was drastically overpaying. Coverage was pretty good, so they made some tweaks, but he was able to save $2,638 annually for the same coverage. Kept mentioning how easy the process was to tell all his friends, what if you could save $2,600 a year on your insurance coverage? It's possible. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana find out. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Kids! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Had to let it hit. In 20 minutes from right now, we'll talk to Chris Lee of VandySports.com. LSU now has 2 commitments from the Vanderbilt baseball program. We'll find out about those 2 guys from Chris Lee in 20 minutes. You can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400. It was Chad Guidry. If you missed the top of this hour, top of hour 2, talked about Derek Williams, 5-star from Westgate, committed to Texas. We talked about, I had been asked the question, is Brian Kelly having trouble recruiting Louisiana? And I laid out a lot of reasons why it's very fair to ask that question and why he's got a lot to prove, but also a lot of reasons why I think they're just fine. So would highly recommend, go back and watch it on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Smash the like button, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube. That helps the whole station, all the shows, the algorithm, everything. And or listen on demand at 1045ESPN.com or on the AFR, the After Further Review on-demand channels via podcast, however you get your podcast. Just search After Further Review and please subscribe. I went deep dive into that. But one of the things that so Chad Guidry sent a text that said, winning this fall will help recruiting. Back-to-back 500 seasons do that. Means hurt your recruiting. And that's a very, very fair point. The on-field struggles of the past 2 years and a coaching change, I think that's undeniable that will affect you. But what I would point out to Chad is, and anyone else who thinks that way, is Texas also had a coaching change and just went 5-7. And they've got 2 of the top 3 players in the state of Louisiana now committed, including the number 1 player in the country in Arch Manning and a 5-star safety. So it is naive to ignore the role that NIL will play in a lot of this stuff, regardless of if you're good or not. So, Texas 8-4, which fans love to say, just had the best recruiting class ever. Not in the country this year, like literally the highest rated class ever in the history of 247 since they've done ratings after an 8-4 season. Like, you got to be realistic and understand that there are more factors at play. And yes, Brian Kelly does have a lot to prove. He does. And I think he'll be fine. And if you're waiting on an amazing on-field season this year to boost that, I don't think that's going to happen. I would love to see this team go 9-3, win a bowl game, and get to 10. That'd be awesome. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to be an 8-4 football team. Hope they're an 8-4 football team. All right, it's After Further Review. If you agree or disagree, you can go bet on it at DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. College football futures, NFL futures. You can bet on all of them right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook. And remember, DraftKings Sportsbook is the official sports betting partner of the UFC. They always have great ways and incentives for you at the DraftKings Sportsbook. But right now, again, gigantic UFC card this weekend. 2 title fights. Israel Adesanya, one of the most dynamic fighters we've ever seen in the sport. He's fighting in the main event this weekend. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 on any fight this weekend. Any fight. And regardless of the result, they'll give you $100 in free bets. It's that easy. But you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. One word, Baton Rouge. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 on any fight on this weekend's UFC card. Regardless of the result, they'll give you $100 in free bets. That's at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Tell you what, y'all. Otter comes on here at the end of every show and gives us picks. Otter gave us a whole bunch of picks last night, and he had one heck of a night. I'm checking it real quick just to give you the accurate number. He gave you over 4.5 for the Rangers, which hit. Hit the ding. Hit the ding. He gave you the Angels money line in the first 5. Hit. He gave you over 7.5 for, it doesn't say what game this was, the Marlins against Cardinals. That hit. He gave you the Twins money line, which hit. And he gave you the over of 9.5 on Red Sox Blue Jays, which did not hit. That's the buzzer. It's a buzzer. Buzzer. It doesn't matter. We'll find it. So Otter was 4-1 last night. It pays to listen to Otter Locks. Anyway, DraftKings Sportsbook app. Please hit the disclaimer if you would. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, real quick before we break, and Alondra will have Tigers in the pros. ACC has announced they are going to drop divisions with the with their new format starting in 2023. Of course, the NCAA has ruled you can scrap divisions and still have a conference championship game, all that sort of stuff. So ACC is now the latest to scrap divisions. ACC, though, is going to go to a 3-5-5. 3 permanents, 5 opponents rotating 1 year to the next. The big difference there to what's proposed in the SEC is that's an 8-game ACC schedule as opposed to 9, which is being proposed in the SEC's 3-6 schedule. 3 permanents, 6 rotating. So the relevancy there is it's another team that's gone to the 3 permanent opponent model, but to keep some of their rivals, but they are going to lose others. Like they're going to lose NC State, Wake Forest, which I know nobody cares, but that's the longest uninterrupted rivalry in the ACC. Those 2 teams have played every year since 1910. They're not going to play every year anymore. Pitt will have the easiest of the slates. Georgia Tech will have the toughest based on winning percentage. But the ACC, the 5th FBS league to scrap divisions. A Big 12, American, Pac-12, Mountain West, and now the ACC is the 5th division. The SEC is expected to scrap divisions as well, but we're still waiting to see what the SEC's scheduling format will be. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 2. When we come back, Alondra will have Tigers in the pros. We'll talk to Chris Lee of VandySports.com in 15 minutes. Stick around.
AFR.
Maybe you're heading home right now. You're knocking off work thinking, what are we going to do for dinner? Man, you never really know. It's a fight every night at the house. I got the answer. Just go to Rouse's. If you're in Louisiana on your way home, you're going to pass a Rouse's because there's Rouse's everywhere. Walk into Rouse's, go to the left, and you'll see all of their great food options. If you want to go to the butcher, they've got it. The seafood market, they've got it. They've got the hot and boiled kiosk. You want boiled seafood, hot, grab and go. You want to make dinner plates, they've got it at Rouse's. Grab and go sushi, they've got it at Rouse's. Now listen, whatever grocery shopping you have to do, of course you can do that at Rouse's. Walk in, go to the right. They got everything on your grocery list. But if you can't get to Rouse's, no worries. They have curbside pickup and delivery options. Go to the Rouse's app or to Rouse's.com, pick out your items. They'll go shop for you. When you pull up, they'll bring it out to your car or deliver it for you as well. Learn more at Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com or on the Rouse's app. Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A big shout out to our guy, the Cougar, Patrick Coogan. This is not what I was thinking of, but I trust he knows this because he was on the team. 1997 regional at the box. LSU completed a 5-4-3 triple play. I do not remember that. I remember that regional very well. So apparently I don't remember it super well if I don't remember the triple play. I certainly remember polishing it off on Sunday night, having to beat Long Beach State or South Alabama twice, excuse me. But I don't remember the triple play. But shout out to the Cougar for thank you for listening and for the update there. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Alondra has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Alrighty, I'm going to start off today's Tigers in the pros with Kevin Gosman, who pitched a great game last night. He pitched 7 scoreless innings and only gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, and had 10 strikeouts on the night. His performance earned him the dub with the Blue Jays. They win 7-2 over the Red Sox.
Yeah! And you know what? The total, that's one of the ones the Otter missed. The total was 9.5, so they missed it by a run.
Come on, Otter. It's okay, though. We'll forgive him.
Gosman got the win.
He got the dub.
He's got great flow, and the Red Sox lost, so I'll take the L.
I'll take it, too.
Good news there.
Yeah, DJ LeMahieu went 1 for 3 last night and had 2 runs on 2 walks, and the Yankees win over the Oakland A's 9-5.
So the Red Sox lost and the Yankees won last night?
Yeah.
Hell of a night.
All is right in the world. On Saturday.
Musso is so fired. Musso's never welcome back ever again. See you, Muse. Stay on your 420 cruise, you chump.
Stay on the 420 cruise. We don't want you back here.
Chump.
What a chump. Okay, on Saturday.
Are you just repeating what I say?
Yeah. Michael Papierski was picked up by the Reds and was optioned to the Louisville Bats.
All right.
Which
all right.
is a great name for a minor league baseball team.
Wait, Pap?
Yeah. Michael Papierski.
I just said that away, Pap. I'm pulling.
Oh, you said that away.
Yeah, that
okay,
was
I thought you said
Pap.
wait.
No,
Pat?
I said that away.
I thought
Pap.
you were questioning it.
No, not at all. I'm excited for
Okay.
him. I was I'm really pulling for Pap, man.
Me
Glad
too.
he got his call up this year. Wish it had worked in San Fran, but let's hope it works in Cincinnati. Here we go. Here we go,
Yep.
Pat. Let's get it, brah.
And as you mentioned yesterday, Kramer Robertson was picked up by the New York Mets and will be joining their AAA team in Syracuse.
You're right. I did mention that.
You did, and those are your Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, online at lmfj.com. lmfj.com. Gentlemen, look, it's summertime. There's no better time than summertime to pop the question. If you're considering doing just that, go to the place that has helped Baton Rouge get engaged for 40 years, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Their great diamond guarantee, because they purchase highest quality diamonds from the best diamond mines all across the world. They can always give you a better deal, and you will always, no matter your budget, always get the Lee Michaels experience. Just walk in. They'll make you feel so at ease. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're with us here. A lot to get to in hour number 3. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Check out the After Further Review podcast. However you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, type After Further Review. You'll see the feed. Each show has its own feed now, so subscribe. You want to listen to the show on demand, that's how you do it. When we come back after SportsCenter, we're going to talk to Chris Lee of VandySports.com. Of course, LSU has picked up 2 baseball transfers from Vanderbilt. A pitcher, Christian Little, and most recently, Carter Young, the 3-year starting shortstop. So what is LSU getting in each of those 2 players? We'll find out from Chris Lee coming up right after SportsCenter. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Remember, you can always get involved. You can email us, you can tweet us, you can text the show in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. It is After Further Review. Hour number 3 is coming up next.
AFR.
Great time to call our friends over at Relief Windows. Of course, it is storm season, and I tell you all the time that Relief Windows, among their many products that they offer, are their Cat 5 storm impact resistant windows. We installed these at our home. And a couple of things you got to know. Have you ever seen the commercial with Brandon swinging the sledgehammer and hitting the window that doesn't break through? Those are those Cat 5 approved windows from Relief Windows, the impact-resistant windows. Learn more. Not only will it increase the security of your home, not only from storms but potential intruders, it will make your home more energy efficient, so it'll lower your energy bills, and you will get credit on your resale value. This will increase your home's resale value. It's Relief Windows. I tell you every day. Windows, doors, siding, it's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. If it's energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, or vinyl siding, it's Relief Windows. Learn more online at reliefwindows.com.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Armstrong.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Serena Williams' first singles match in a year ending in heartbreak. She lost to Harmony Tan in a third-set tiebreaker at Wimbledon. The match lasted nearly 3 hours. It was only the third first-round exit in 80 career Grand Slam appearances for Serena. Washington's making Terry McLaurin among the NFL's top 5 highest-paid receivers. ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting he's signing a 3-year extension worth up to $71 million in new money. NBA, Kyrie Irving staying put. Told The Athletic he's opting into his $36.5 million option with the Nets. Brooklyn got its answer from Irving, now needs to work on tweaking its roster, suggests ESPN's Zach Lowe.
How do they retool this roster? Because they do have some things to play with. I think the Nets are going to be busier in the next 4 or 5 days than people think they will be, trying to retool this team around these big three that we have never seen play together.
From ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the Jazz finalizing a 5-year contract with Celtics assistant Will Hardy to make him the team's new head coach. Baseball, Phillies outfielder Bryce Harper will undergo thumb surgery tomorrow.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Alondra Villarreal. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. Alondra, we're going to have to work on the volume, the levels, the mixing. We're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. Mr. Toby Tomplin, who, by the way, gigantic Pee Wee Herman fan. Who knew? But that guy, huge Pee Wee, very talented, but a Pee Wee Herman fan. Don't hold that against him. All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. It is 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. LSU, Jay Johnson continues to just cast his net into the transfer portal sea and continues to haul in big fish. 2 of them from Vanderbilt, Christian Little and last night Carter Young. Our buddy Chris Lee from VandySports.com, good enough to join us to talk about the Vandy guys that have committed to Jay Johnson. Chris, we always appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I want to ask about the guys committed to LSU, but one big picture question first. Vandy's had an inordinate amount of guys and contributors transfer this year. Is there something going on with that program right now?
Hard to say. I think it is. It's such new territory, right? Because you have the COVID holdovers, which caused an issue. It had 40-man rosters last year. So there was going to be some cutting necessary to begin with. You have the portal, which makes it easier than ever. You know, I don't know that when I looked at them last year, I always see a team that just loved playing baseball. So, but I'm not in that locker room. They keep everything very close to the vest. You know, in the case of these 2 guys, everybody's got their individual stories. We can maybe talk about those, although some would certainly be speculation. But I don't know. It's hard for me to make a pronouncement just because this is such an odd time just for college sports and baseball in general with all that's gone on the last 3 years of all the changes.
Chris, hang on one second. Alondra, do me a favor. Put him on hold, please, Alondra. We're hearing some echo on Chris' line. Do me a pick up and just check with him to see if he's having that issue as well. If not, just maybe we can call right back. We're just having an issue with the phone. I want to make sure. that whatever that is, it gets resolved. So we're going to try to get that fixed there with Chris real quick. That allows me a real quick opportunity to remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. You want to look and feel like your younger self? They can help. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Get online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, we're good? Okay, try the Chris. Sorry about that, man. I don't know if you were hearing. We were hearing a little bit of an echo. I just want to make sure that we're good on the sound. Let's talk about the two guys that have committed to LSU one at a time, and we'll start, I guess, with the most recent, which was Carter Young. We can look at the numbers, Chris. Offensively, he clearly regressed. What happened there offensively with Carter Young?
Well, let me walk you through his career because I think that's important. He comes to campus the pandemic year. The word is he's a wizard with the glove, but he can't hit anything. They get into the season, and I don't remember if he led them in batting average or not, but it was close. Now, he wasn't hitting for any power, but he was really hitting for average, which was a surprise to everybody. Now, last year, he comes out, and he's a switch hitter, and he's found just this power out of nowhere. He's got 16 home runs. He's one of the country's leading home run hitters for a while. Now, there was some swing and miss, a good bit of that. The on-base percentage wasn't great, but when you were an elite fielding shortstop, which he has been, and you hit for that kind of power, that's a guy that you were starting to hear first-round talk. And when I watched him, I could believe that. Now, I'm in a game midweek. I think it was the last midweek game of the year. They're playing, good grief, I don't remember if it was Florida International or North Alabama, but it's a game where they're just beating the tar out of who's on the other side. It's like a 20-1 type game. And in the middle of that, he steals second, and he's about to slide past the bag. He grabs it, and then you can just see him in pain. And everybody there is going, oh, no. His shoulder has popped out of socket, and that's what it was. From that point on, he has not been the same guy.
And Chris, I'm sorry, that was this season, or that was his sophomore year?
That was about 15 months ago.
Okay.
He did not play well in the College World Series. He did not hit at all. The power has been almost gone since then. And this year, what I was told is coming into fall ball, I think he had started to get back to where defensively he was back where he was. He rested last fall. I don't think he played summer ball. I could be wrong about that. He had shoulder surgery and just was not the same guy. The power never came back with any consistency. The strikeouts got worse. And the weird thing, Matt, is defensively, they have had just one fantastic shortstop after another defensively for 2 decades now, and he was right up there with most of those guys. And I think he was a Gold Glove guy in high school, maybe won a National Gold Glove. If not, he was that level of defender. All of a sudden, he is just dropping routine balls. I'm talking about you'll see a ball hit to him, and he goes to make the exchange. He just drops the ball. Or have a ball go under his legs. Just things like that, mistakes that he did not make before. It was one of those weird things where I don't think he ever got back on track hitting-wise, and I think that bled over into defense. And Tim Corbin is a guy that if you defend and defend well, you'll keep your position almost all the time, and especially at a key spot like shortstop. I thought it was really odd. He's a kid from Washington. They go up to Oregon State for the regional, starts the first game, doesn't play well, did not play the rest of that series. Vanderbilt actually ran off a pretty good run from there on, lost 7-6 at Oregon State on a Monday night game. I don't think Carter Young played again other than maybe a ninth-inning defensive appearance in a game where they just bludgeoned New Mexico State. I think he had a lot of family there. I'm sure that had to hurt. I don't know how much that all played in, but the weird thing is when he left, and I don't think this is fair because of the injury, I think there's a good ball player in there somewhere if somebody can get it out of him, but Vanderbilt fans weren't at all upset or disappointed. I don't think they felt like he would be in their plans next year. Do I agree with that? No. I think, again, there's a good player if they can get back to it. The problem with Carter Young is baseball people don't know that his bat stays in the strike zone long enough where he can really pull out of this tailspin he's been in now for 15 months offensively. I don't know if LSU can fix his swing. I don't know if LSU will get a chance to fix his swing. I mean, he's still listed as a top 200 prospect a lot of places. Some team may take him, say, we can fix the bat, we love the glove, and you may never see him in Baton Rouge. It has just been a very interesting career, but I have to say I still go back to that dislocated shoulder because I've not seen the Carter Young that I saw before then since.
Was it his throwing shoulder, Chris?
I think it was.
Okay. And Chris Lee's with us, VandySports.com.
Let me take that back. It may have been his glove shoulder. I'd have to look that up. But either way, I mean, he just was not the same guy. And it cost him. I don't think he played summer or fall ball after that.
Can Carter Young play second or third? Because LSU kind of has a glut now of middle infielders with Jack Pineda, the Baylor transfer, Carter Young, and Jordan Thompson returning.
Oh, look, Carter Young is a plus defensive shortstop when all is right. I think if he can play short, he can certainly play second. He is so smooth in the field.
Okay.
It just makes plays look easy. He's mechanically sound. I don't know why not. No, it'd be an adjustment. I mean, he's a kid that from the moment he set foot on campus, he's been their starting shortstop. There was no using him other places, so I haven't seen it. But based on his ability, I'm sure that he can.
Chris Lee is with us. Let's turn the page and talk about Christian Little because that's another guy, man, when he showed up at Vanderbilt was a top 20 prospect in the country? I mean, he was supposed to be the next Leiter, Rocker. How did it or why did it go awry there in Nashville for Christian Little?
You know, he had a very interesting career path. First of all, he skipped the spring of his senior year of high school to come to Vanderbilt, and he was still, I believe, I think he was even younger this year as a sophomore than all the freshmen on the team. That has been reported. I have not fact-checked that, but he was still a very young kid. He got lots of opportunity right away. You're not going to get a ton of opportunity in big spots when you've got Rocker and Leiter on your staff, but he was basically their midweek starter, and it was just very uneven. He would go through spells where he would walk a few guys and he'd strike out 2 or 3, get some balls hit hard. But for what he was, you could see the talent. He had 3 or 4 good pitches, fastball 95, 96. He's a kid that for years now has been tagged with that future top 10 in the draft kind of talent. No, this year, I think everybody expected they would come into the season with Patrick Riley and Christian Little being 2/3 of the rotation, and we didn't know who the other guy was. Well, opening weekend comes, and neither of those guys are in the rotation. To everybody's surprise, and neither of them made it to the rotation all year. And just digging around, I talked to someone who was very familiar with their workouts and things, and they're playing Oklahoma State for the opener. And I don't remember the situation, but Little comes in. I think they've got a little bit of a lead. He pitches a really good inning, and I was texting with this guy, and he said, you know, what'll be interesting will be to see whether they leave him in for another inning or they just take the gains and hope that it improves his confidence. I'm thinking, man, that's quite a statement where you can't necessarily trust a kid with that kind of talent to throw a second inning. Sure enough, they had pulled him, and he didn't come back, and I guess they were just hoping that he will get some confidence from what just happened in that spot rather than go another inning, maybe it falls apart, and, you know, it goes a wrong direction. I kept thinking all year at some point he would work his way into the weekend rotation, especially as they struggled late. He got suspended, I think, for one weekend. I want to say it was the South Carolina weekend. They didn't announce a reason. Usually that's classroom. You skip a class, you're behind academically, something like that. You know, he never got a shot to really do much. There were times when he would come in, he kind of got to be almost their setup guy, and it was kind of working for him in that spot. You could see the stuff working. And then they get to the postseason. They start him against Oregon State in that Monday night game. It was okay. It was kind of a par for the course of his career outing, to where he would look great at times, and at times he would struggle. And at the end of the day, kind of mediocre. It is a weird situation because it's a kid who's got all kinds of talent, all kinds of ability. He's still going to show up in mock drafts next year in the first round. I would guarantee it, just based on the talent. But he's also a kid who couldn't land a role when there was an opportunity. And by the way, if you go back to Omaha last year, he started a game or two out there, and you could see him moping in the dugout when things weren't going his way, when fielders botched plays. You could see him get into it with Scott Brown, their pitching coach, in the dugout. It's just some things you aren't normally used to seeing out of Vanderbilt pitchers. And I think he is a very, very talented but very, very big wild card as he leaves Nashville.
Certainly makes sense why both of those guys might be looking for a new opportunity. Can they maximize the opportunity in Baton Rouge will be a very, very interesting storyline, provided, as you mentioned, Carter Young even shows up, depending on what happens here in the draft. Chris Lee, VandySports.com. You'll follow him on Twitter at Chris Lee. We appreciate the time as always. It is bizarre, Chris, just how much this baseball news cycle won't stop. I mean, usually we slow down in June, but with the draft in mid-July now, it ain't stopped, man. It's kind of a crazy time.
Matt, someone asked me on the radio the other day, who do you think the front runners are in the SEC next year? And I said, well, normally I'm going to give you the answer. Ask me again in a few weeks after the draft. Now I have to add to that. Ask me after the draft, after the portal is settled. It is just a crazy time. You're seeing these SEC teams load up. We don't know who these guys are anymore. I feel like we get a good read on teams after the year and after the draft. You got two teams in Auburn and A&M that I know they played the disrespect card all year. We didn't know who those guys were because there were so many new transfers. I suspect that'll happen again this year. It is just a crazy time in the college baseball landscape, and if you don't keep up with it moment by moment, a lot can happen that you miss out.
Chris Lee, VandySports.com, on Twitter at ChrisLee70. Y'all give him a follow. Great follow. We appreciate it, Chris. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, be well. It is after further review. I want to react to some of that. And also, there's a new football mock draft for next year that's out. I know that's getting way, way ahead of ourselves. But there was one interesting thing as it pertained to LSU that I wanted to delve into. We'll get to that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty, because when I went to go buy a home, I called Darren James. When Erica and I sold that first home, Darren sold it. Actually, sold it within a day that it was on the market. When we went to buy our second home, Darren was right there with us, walking us through the process. If you're buying or selling, if it's commercial or residential, if you want an unbelievable customer service experience, do what I did. Do what thousands have done. Call Darren James. Get your home sold. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Listen, there's a lot of realtors that could put a sign in the yard, list your home on the MLS, but no realtor goes above and beyond the way like Darren James does. That's why he's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1,000 realtors in America. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Armstrong.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Rolling along, glad you're with us. Thanks to Chris Lee, VandySports.com. Joey Holloway texted the show, said this dude's a ray of sunshine, eh? Listen, I'm going to be very, very honest. So if you missed it, Chris Lee, Vandy Sports, was talking about Carter Young and Christian Little, both now transferred into LSU. If you asked me, in my opinion, just me, my opinion, the two most comprehensive, like, local market SEC baseball reporters are Chase Parham from Rebel Grove and Chris Lee of Vandy Sports. I don't know that there's two guys. The only guy in this market, as much as I love baseball, that's comparable to those is Hunt. You're talking about SEC, is Hunt Palmer. Those two guys just love college baseball, SEC baseball. They know it top to bottom comprehensively. They're awesome. I'm not talking about national like Kendall Rogers, who's national and is awesome. I'm talking about guys that are local market cover team. Chris Lee's as good as there is. He knows the league. He knows the coaches, the players, the talent there. He knows it all. So when I go to him and I say, tell me about these guys, I trust him. And what he laid out there was circumstances as to why two guys who are super talented, highly regarded guys would leave the situation they were in. And it makes sense. Christian Little wants to be a starting pitcher. He was clearly not going to get that opportunity at Vanderbilt. Carter Young, probably just looking for a new beginning. And I didn't know about the shoulder injury. I mean, I knew he had a shoulder injury. I didn't know all the context that Chris provided there about how he injured it, and that's why it happened, the power and everything, maybe the glove followed. It makes sense that if you're Carter Young, a new beginning could do him a lot of good. So let's watch the draft. See what happens if he ever ends up here. Be great if he does. There's a very real, honest conversation that has to be had about which guys actually will end up here. the ones that are draft eligible. Look, Dylan TeBrock was on the show yesterday, two-time Big East Pitcher of the Year. We're all fired up. I'm thinking he's a chance to be your Friday night guy. He told us point blank yesterday he plans to sign a pro contract. LSU is his fallback. He thinks he's going to get his number. If he gets it, he's going to sign. But if not, LSU is his leverage. So, I'll tell you candidly, after Dylan was on the show, talked to a scout who's a friend of mine. I said, what would you offer Dylan TeBrock? Because I don't know that a lot of people know that. The regional scouts are the ones that handle the draft for the franchises and basically say, take this kid, here's what you offer him, sort of thing. Instead, he'd offer Dylan TeBrock between $900 and $1.1, $900K and $1.1 million. Well, if TeBrock wants 1.8, could they meet at 1.3, 1.4, and would he take it? That's the way that the draft game is played, that you just don't know till it plays out. But Carter Young's in a similar situation. What if Carter Young has an opportunity to be a top 3-4 round guy and takes a $500,000 to go start a pro career? Maybe he does that. Or maybe he comes to LSU and says, let me go show I can be what I've shown before I can be, and then go much higher and get a 7-figure signing bonus. We'll see. All right, it's after further review. We will get to Otter Locks here in about 20 minutes from right now. Otter was 4-1 on his Otter Locks last night. Dude was en fuego. The one he missed, as we mentioned, was the Blue Jays and the Red Sox over, which the total was 9.5. They scored 9. So he just missed a 5-0 night. But Otter was en fuego last night. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Let's make some money, y'all. All right, Matt Miller over at ESPN.com has put out his first mock draft for 2023. We've gone through Kuiper and McShay and their early projections and all that sort of stuff. And, I mean, I don't know what stock you put into this at all, a mock draft. Every time I do this, I always warn you of, guys who were at the top of last year's way too early mock draft. At this time a year ago, the guys at the top of the way too early mock draft were Spencer Rattler and Sam Howell. I mean, it didn't exactly work out for those guys this year. So take it all with a grain of salt and what it is. He's got Will Anderson, the defensive end from Alabama, going number 1 overall, and I think we could all probably understand that he's a super freakish edge rusher, and quarterbacks and edge rushers tend to be the ones that go number 1 overall. And if not, it's an offensive tackle. It's the quarterback, or the guys that affect the quarterback. Jackson Smith and Njigba, the wide receiver from Ohio State, going 2 to the Bears. Jalen Carter, defensive tackle from Georgia, going 3 to the Texans. This is where it gets interesting. Eli Ricks, 4 to Jacksonville. The two things on this mock draft that'll make you sick are Eli Ricks at 4 to Jacksonville and Apu Ika 29 to the Chargers. You're talking about two guys that were LSU signees that left because, well, in the case of Ika, Ed Ogeron wanted to convert back to a 4-3, and so he told a 350-pound disruptor in the middle, we don't really have a spot for you. Anyway, and that was projected first-round pick. And then Elias Ricks, of course, going to Jacksonville, or going to Alabama. That's just I get it. We've talked about it enough. It's a bummer. Anyway, interestingly, he does have Kayshon Boutte in the first round, and he's got Kayshon Boutte going to what would be a pretty good spot for him, going 18 overall to the New England Patriots. It would give Mac Jones a really athletic target. I'll make a prediction, and they have Boutte, by the way, as the third receiver coming off the board in the draft. I'll make a prediction that I think Boutte goes higher than 18. And it's not to say that he'll be the first receiver taken. Jackson Smith and Njigba from Ohio State certainly will make a very compelling case there. And last year's Biletnikoff winner, Jordan Addison, who was at Pitt, who's now at Southern Cal, could very well go higher than Kayshon as well. It'll be hard for me to see Boutte, provided he's healthy and plays a full season, dropping down to the second half of round 1. You've seen more of an investment in receivers high in the draft. Jamar Chase is obviously evidence of that, going 5th overall. You're seeing that type of commitment again to receivers, where the flashy wide receiver, after their very high profile busts like Charles Rogers and Mike Williams, you saw only a player like Calvin Johnson or Julio Jones go high. Now you're starting to see lots of receivers go in in the first round, and you're seeing less of a commitment to quarterbacks and to safety, or excuse me, to quarterbacks, to safeties and to running backs, obviously. Also of note, he's got the Saints picking 16. So take that for what it's worth, but that would put you probably on the outside of the playoffs if you're picking 16th overall. They use the Football Power Index to pick the order of the draft. When I look at something like this, I always think, okay, well, who's on the list and who could be on the list? The players, the LSU players that are not on the list that I think could well be on the list are the edge rushers. I think B.J. Ojulari and Ali Gay are the two LSU players that could find their way into round one. Both have been mighty disruptive and both fit the mold in different ways of highly regarded edge rushers. If you look at Ali Gay with the long arms, with the physicality, not only can he rush the passer, but he's also a guy that can help against the run. And B.J. Ojulari is your speed edge rusher. I mean, he's a prototype of what you see coming off the edge in the league now. So either one of those two guys, I think, would make a lot of sense in round one if they have productive years this year. So Kayshon Boutte, if he's healthy, most certainly will be a first-round pick. The other guys that I think have a chance in this draft would be Gay and Ojulari. I don't know that I see anyone on the offensive line having that type of season, certainly not running backs. Could you see a receiver emerge? Maybe. I don't know that I necessarily believe that any of the linebackers would put themselves in a position, although Mike Jones is athletic enough potentially to be that. And I don't know that any of the defensive backs, the draft-eligible defensive backs, would be in that situation. Maybe Jay Ward would have the most compelling case if he has a really, really fine season. But Gay and Ojulari would be the ones that most likely would push themselves toward the first round. But Boutte certainly would be a lock if he's healthy. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name-brand tires at wholesale prices. It is raining outside right now in Baton Rouge. You know what makes you feel secure? Obviously, driving a safe vehicle, buckling your seatbelt, but having good tires that grip the road. I mean, sometimes, man, you hit those puddles and you start splishing and splashing and hydroplaning, man, that's no fun. Drive with the security of having the best tires on the road on your vehicle, and also with the peace of mind knowing that you're paying a fair price when you go to Shaw Bills. They will sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, bumper to bumper auto service. It's ShawBillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you. Learn about the great promotions that they have, the dealer promotions to get you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Where else would you want to go? Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's After Further Review. Remember, you can always tweet the show at Matt Moscona. You can email me, matt@1045ESPN.com. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or you can always text me in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Otterlock's coming up a little more than 10 minutes from right now. We'll get some of your calls, texts, emails, and tweets when we return on AFR.
AFR.
4th of July is this weekend. Are you going to be hanging out at the house? Are you going to be barbecuing? Are you going to be outside enjoying your space? Well, beautify that outdoor space, and Clegg's can make it happen. Brighten up your flower beds, your patio pots with summertime favorites, especially right now for the 4th of July. They are always there to handle all of your lawn and gardening questions if you have those and you're not sure what to plant. But great specials right now for the 4th of July. If it's limelight hydrangeas, if it's great, beautiful hibiscus or caladiums, I tell you all the time, I'm a gigantic fan of dipldenias. We plant those in our outdoor area. They are gorgeous, and they thrive even in this Louisiana heat. You can get the best selection at Clegg's Nursery. If you want to beautify your outdoor space with some color, you can do it, courtesy of Clegg's Nursery. Remember, every Clegg's Nursery is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so whatever you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So, buy local, shop local. Be sure to tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we're going to get to Otter in less than 10 minutes from right now. Something else that we're going to keep an eye on is the Wes Johnson news, as he will be, as he'll join LSU after the current series with the Twins, and then he'll be here next week, and he'll be introduced. We'll get a chance to meet him and speak to him for the first time as LSU's pitching coach and talk more about why he left Minnesota. I'm curious, or maybe not so curious, if LSU fans are deeply interested in what he's going to be paid. It's an interesting circumstance, as we've talked about, where you have a guy that's a sitting big league pitching coach leaving for college, and then I think most of us just assumed, well, he's going to get a giant raise. And as I've told you, there are people within college baseball that know Wes Johnson, that know that his career ambition is to be a college baseball head coach, and to be in the college game is going to give him a deeper fast track to that than being in the professional game. And then also, instead of living out of a suitcase for 100 nights a year, he has an opportunity to be at a college where you play 3 games on the weekend, you play a midweek game, you're mostly home and with a family. That makes sense. Dan Hayes is the Twins beat writer for The Athletic, and he mentioned that Johnson's base salary of $380, which is part of the offer sheet. That's public now. It's a public offer sheet that LSU signed to Wes Johnson. It's $380K, and there's incentives that could push him north, or closer to $400. But Dan Hayes mentions multiple industry sources said the total compensatory package potentially in the neighborhood of $750,000. He made $400,000 with the Twins this season. Hayes mentions. When asked about the package, Johnson said, quote, "I can't comment on that." Okay. There's 2 points I don't want to illustrate here. The number that I was told initially, and I don't mind saying it now because Dan Hayes has put it out there publicly, the number I was told initially was 7. And So when I saw 380 on the offer sheet, I was taken aback a little bit because that's not close. I mean, you're talking about roughly half the number that was told. What I know to be true is that there are ways that coaches get paid that are not through the university. If it's camp money, look, LSU's camps annually make seven figures, the baseball camps. So a lot of times the volunteer coaches on staff get paid by running camps. They don't get the entirety of the money, but that's part of how they get paid, by running camps. Maybe that's how they'll kick them some money. Maybe it's TAF money that will pay out. Listen, however they do it or structure it is, I don't know, but what it shows, if that number is accurate, and I don't know if it is, I'm only saying it because you have a verified Twitter account from a Major League Baseball beat writer of the team from which the new pitching coach is coming, putting that number out there, citing industry sources. Okay, so that's a reputable reporter putting that number out there. You want to believe him or not, I don't know. But if that number is true, what it shows, again, in underscore, bold, italics, that LSU is very much committed financially to being great in baseball again. Not to say LSU wasn't committed to being great in baseball, but sometimes you get comfortable and you rest on your laurels. And I think LSU has been shaken and awoken because of what's happened here, certainly in the last 2 years, but in the last 5. Florida, Vanderbilt, Arkansas was a pop-up away from winning a natty. State, Ole Miss have won national championships now. And you haven't won one since 2009. They're ready again and committed. So I'm then gonna flip this, and I'm going to look at football and say, when is LSU going to be ready and be committed again? Now, that might sound dumb in this respect. You pay your former coach $17 million to go away, and you committed $100 million to the new coach. So, yes, in that respect, very much you have married yourself to Brian Kelly in a gigantic financial way. But are you going to give him the necessary resources to win at the highest level? And by that, I'm not just talking about staff, but I'm talking about NIL. And that's something that Scott Woodward and his staff, I mean, you can only do so much. You've got to have your biggest financial power brokers pot committed to go play this NIL game for as long as it has to be played. Y'all, do you realize we saw a report yesterday? Like, don't be numb to this. We saw a report yesterday that a billionaire booster at Miami agreed to a $9.5 million deal to sign a quarterback. Now, the quarterback denies it. The booster denies it. Believe what you want. In that same report was that a school in your conference that you play every year, Florida, offered the same player $11 million. Y'all, what I'm telling you is LSU ain't swimming in those waters and nothing close to it right now. Like, I'm not freaking out over Derek Williams going to Texas, and we know Arch Manning was never coming here to begin with, but it's June. Camp season just came and went. LSU sitting on 6 commits, only one in the top 150 in the country. It's a tight end out of Missouri. It's ranked 147. Like, I mean, you playing ball or not? You know, it's just a fascinating time because I think that LSU's biggest boosters, they're tapped out right now. You paid Mulkey. You paid Ogeron to go away. You paid Jay Johnson. You paid Brian Kelly. It's been an expensive 2 years. Been a really expensive 2 years. 18 months. Been a really expensive 18 months. And now you got to go start doling out 7-figure deals for players. I mean, I think it's going to be similar to what's happened in baseball. Your rivals are going to have to not only gain ground or pass you for LSU's power brokers to really get active in this, because it's just not happening right now. And it can change on the dime, and hopefully it will. But it's got to, or you're going to start to see more of this and more of this unease. All right. right, it's after further review. Otter's coming up. Let me knock out our final break of the show. Get into Otter locks. Maybe bet some money. Win a ton of money and give it to NIL deals. Otter was 4-1 last night. See what he's got on the docket tonight for us. Otter locks is next to wrap up the show.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You know I always love sharing great testimonials. This one came in a 5-star Google review, said these guys are beyond angels. Angels. Being in South Louisiana definitely means you need your AC. Mine went down. I called to set up the appointment, which was easy. Repair team came at the end of the block time. They were immediate, diagnosed the issue, offered me several options to repair it. Not pushy, did not beat around the bush. I adored that. The quality repaired the problem. Excuse me. They quickly repaired the problem, explained how they could help me in the future. I purchased a maintenance plan because of the upfront easy nature. Thank you again for helping me out. That is the upfront nature. That is the service. That is River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks. River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Armstrong.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village. Serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and of an incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, Jimmy Otter. How are you?
Doing good. I mean, now that Musso's out, we got this bad luck charm out the way. The lady that calls me so much more polite, courteous. Musso, come on.
Hey, one thing though. So 4-1 last night, by the way. Great night.
Half a run, yeah.
Half a run, but it was at the expense of a Red Sox loss, so I'm good with it. Good with it.
Well, what's funny is we need a base hit, second and third, so 2 runs to put it on 10. And I'm listening to it, and it's a ball. It's off of the fielder and into field. And I'm like, all right, good, but only 1 run is going to score. Like, oh, come on. Yeah, well, hey, man, I don't want to be that guy now. Get 4-1.
4-1. I'll take it.
Oh,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
That guy will wear you out.
Yes. No, let's cash our tickets, accept our winnings, and move on.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
The gift that keeps on giving. Patrick Corbin.
Okay.
His boy, they are rolling him out there again tonight. And I really do believe because they're trying to get in a full 162 in a condensed schedule. And, I mean, some of these pitches that Washington's throwing out there, it's every time. So we're going with even our buddy Dana Brown. He said, last time, he said, I can't believe you didn't go against Corbin. And I forgot to last time. We're going on against you tonight. Pittsburgh is plus 110. That's when they can Corbin a favorite. Love that O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates. The Pirates plus 110. Twins lost the first game of a doubleheader, had a lead in the 8th inning on a Correa solo shot, but gave up 2 in the bottom of the 8th. They lose 3-2 in the first game, but we're going back in the Twins tonight, minus 105.
Hey, wait, I'm sorry. Your phone is not cooperating right now. I didn't even hear the first pick, and you're a little muffled right now. Try again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little bit, but you're really muffled.
How about now?
There, that's perfect. Wherever you are, stay where I got you. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay. What was the first pick again?
Okay, Minnesota, Pittsburgh Pirates.
All right, Pittsburgh tonight. Okay.
Yeah, they're rolling for Corbin out there again tonight. So we've been fading him
I'm
every
looking
time.
at Mitch Keller.
No, Quintana should be pitching for Pittsburgh. Keller's even better, but I mean, we're
I'm looking at Mitch Keller against Paolo Espino. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong damn night. Hang on. All right, Quintana against Corbin. Got it. Sorry. Okay, my bad. All right, God damn it, Otter, it's my bad, all right? I made a mistake. People make mistakes, all right? Your bad phone was throwing me all off. It's your fault, actually. All right.
Yeah, no doubt. My fault. You don't know what day it is.
All right, so anyway. we're going Pittsburgh, money line or run line?
Money line.
All right, Pittsburgh money line. Let's move on. Yes, let's move on.
Twins lost the first game. They'll bounce back tonight. They had the lead in the 8th, but gave it up in the bottom of the 8th. They're going to bounce back tonight, minus 105 or so. We had the Angels in Thor last night, but I tell you what, Giolito showed signs after he gave up 2. Keep a mental note of that. He might be getting out of his funk for the White Sox, but we're going with the White Sox tonight. They're healthy again. Anderson's healthy. Abreu's healthy. The Angels pitching is pretty weak, and that bullpen is horrible. Yankees, San Francisco parlay. So we can't lay that big number, but I got as high as plus 125 on it. Yankees, San Francisco parlay, and then the under Seattle and Baltimore. The last year's Cy Young Award winner. We had been fading him earlier, but he's kind of getting in form right now. He's put 3 good outings back to back to back. I love those Baltimore Orioles, though. I had them again last. Man, they are fun to watch. 26-30 in that tough division, but we're going under tonight. So,
all right, 5 games tonight.
White Sox, Pirates, Twins, Yankees, San Francisco parlay money line, and under Seattle, Baltimore. This is Tuesday.
It was a long scroll. I was looking for Pittsburgh.
Martes.
It was a long scroll. I was distracted because you sounded like Charlie Brown's teacher. I couldn't hear you.
Martes, in Espanol. Anything else? Two
no.
more weeks? Two
Yes.
more weeks.
Lunes, martes, miércoles. Yeah? Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you tonight?
Dozy place right down the street on Government Street. We're in the Crown Town Room. Going to watch some baseball tonight. Myself and Mike Delicano. We got Matt Humans and Wes Reynolds on tonight giving us golf picks. It's a light field, but they'll give us some picks tonight. And our NFL team breakdown win total of the Las Vegas Raiders tonight. So got a little something.
1 minute remaining.
All right, Otter. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, on the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
All right, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Be well. It is after further review. Otter is a Williamson Eye Center patient of Dr. Blake Williamson, as am I. We had very different experiences, though. I had LASIK. The Otter had his lens replacement. No matter your age or your refractive issue, you want to see 20/20 without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. I cannot implore you enough to just go for that consultation. It's incredible. Give them a buzz. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. Alondra Villarreal, what did you learn today on the show?
I learned that I should pay attention to the mixing more.
Okay. We'll work on it. Paulie, what did you learn? Your mic's not on. We're going to have to work on it. Now we're late. Hit the drop.
AFR.
And turn my mic back on. All right. We're getting on down the road. Turn your mics off. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. We need to land the plane a little better, Alondra. Don't worry. We'll work on it. SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. Look, right now, inventory everywhere. We know the story. It's a problem, right? But at South Point Volkswagen, there's two things. Number one, they will work hard to get you whatever vehicle you want. So if there's a certain model with certain specifications, they have great relationships. They can find the vehicle somewhere and get it here for you. That's number one. Number two is the customer service. If everyone's having trouble getting inventory, wouldn't you want to go somewhere that has a sterling reputation, people that do a great job of creating buying atmosphere and treat you right before and after the sale? That is South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes.